Okay, today we are looking at text features. So I've pulled up a couple of pages from your workbook. We're working on page 64 and 65 today, and you're going to have a chance to have this document for your assignment in just a little bit, but I wanted to kind of go through some things together first. So if you would follow along with mine as we go, and then you'll get a chance to try your own in a few minutes. So we're looking at text features from our text that we worked on the other day. Here comes solar power. And the first thing that we're looking at here is ask and answering questions. We have talked a lot this school year about how important it is for your brain to be thinking about things as you're reading. And we've seen these examples before, so we can run through this pretty quickly. So up here, ask and answer questions.
Ask and answer questions. Asking yourself questions as you read helps you better understand what you are reading. Ask yourself questions as you read. Here comes solar power. Then, look for details to support your answers. Find text evidence. Look at the section Energy Today on page 59. Think of a question, then reread to answer it.
Okay, so again, those question words are up here. What, who, where, when, why, those kinds of things are what we might be thinking of as we read. And then, of course, you might find your answer in that section, or you might need to keep reading to find the answer to your question. And then sometimes you may have to look completely elsewhere to find the answer to your question. But the point is, your brain is thinking and processing all these good things that you're reading about. So let's see an example of this. This is page 59 from your text that you've already read, so we'll just recap it. You get your energy because you eat healthful foods. Most factories, homes, and cars get their energy from fossil fuels. So then, here's an example. As you're reading, you might have this question: what in the world are fossil fuels? So you might want to keep reading to see, is this text going to give me more information? What is a fossil fuel? Well, let's keep reading. Coal, petroleum, and natural gas are fossil fuels. Ah, it was in the very next sentence. A lot of times we see that if we're being introduced to words that we don't know yet or something that might be new vocabulary, a lot of times the author will give us a description of that if we just keep on reading. So we just discovered that fossil fuels can be coal, petroleum, natural gas. Those are all fossil fuels. They have been the traditional or usual energy sources for more than a century. Today, most of the energy we use in the United States comes from burning fossil fuels. So there we're talking about energy, and we know what some examples of fossil fuels are. Okay. Then it asks you to reread page 60 and think of a question about solar energy. Write it here. So remember, you have page 60, you have this text assigned to you in ConnectEd. So you can go ahead and pull that assignment up and look at page 60. We've got page 60 over here, but it's awfully tiny. So I don't know if you'll be able to, yeah, you can probably zoom in fairly well on that. And that might help you too. And in fact, I could probably just give you a screenshot of this so that you have that on your slides. That's probably pretty helpful for you too. So you have a couple of options for doing that. So the point here is when you get to the assignment, I want you to come up with what question could your brain be asking when you read page 60. Okay? Then the second half of your assignment is we're looking at text features. So we're looking specifically at
Headings and sidebars. Here comes solar power is an argumentative text. Argumentative texts state an opinion and persuade readers to agree with it. Support claims or statements that something is true with evidence. Include text features such as headings and sidebars. Find text evidence. I can tell that Here Comes Solar Power is an argumentative text. It states the opinion that solar power is a useful energy source. It makes claims supported by facts. It has headings that tell about each section. It also has a sidebar. Headings. Headings suggest what a section of text is mainly about. Sidebar. A sidebar gives extra information about a topic.
Okay, so as we are reading that, I noticed this word here, argumentative text, is bolded. It's a bold-faced word right there. So that gives me some clues that it might be an important word. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that for us so that we see it fresh out, okay? It's an argumentative text. I hear a word in argumentative. I hear a root word. Did you hear it too? Argumentative? It sounds a lot like argue or argument, right? So if you have an argument with someone, you believe something and you want them to believe it too, right? You want them to believe that you should have dessert, or you want them to believe that you should be allowed to play with that toy or ride your bike. So you're arguing a point. So the same thing happens in argumentative text. They're arguing a point. We've talked about headings quite a bit. We've talked about how that can be kind of like a main idea statement. And I see that right here again. I see what the text is mainly about. I can't highlight it right now, that's okay. It's what it's mainly about. And then the sidebar gives us extra information, okay? So as you are re-looking at page 60, and again, I'll give you a bigger picture of that so you can zoom in on it. You want to reread the sidebar. That would be this section here. It's pointed with the arrow sidebar down to here. Talk about how solar panels work and write one detail here. So as you are reading about how solar panels work, tell me something. Put in a text box right here so that I can read it really well. And don't just give me a 1 or 2 word answer. Let's make it a complete 3rd grade, almost 4th grader answer. Okay, that's what I'll be looking for.